Hi there, Cass here, aka Elven Tempest. I wanted to do kind of an impromptu video because pretty much, maybe since I guess Mass Effect Andromeda launched, and word of a new IP really got out forever ago, it's kind of been in the Bioware fandom discussed a lot, and then after Anthem was revealed, and even though we know it can be a single player game, there have been people who have felt like maybe Bioware is abandoning its core demographic. In other words, very intense RPGs, which I want to mention that Dragon Age Inquisition, I guess the fourth Dragon Age, I should have phrased that properly, is still a thing that is happening probably in 2020. So sadly a good ways off because yes, they have been focusing on Anthem, from what I can tell, at least 4, possibly 5 years, maybe more. I'm sure there's a number somewhere that I've missed, but what I wanted to talk about is I've seen a lot of people thinking that Bioware is changing, and I mean they are. I don't think it's possible, especially that they're part of EA, and if you watch the E3 EA, it was cars and sports really, which if you're into that, that's great, but and the Anthem was really backseat, and of course they really highlighted only, we saw some cool graphics, but it was mostly, combat in the world and this open world. And the thing is, I understand because I am a part of that group that prefers, the Dragon Age Origins style game. I like a set path and a real story. I like story driven, and this Anthem is MMO-ish. I think they were calling it a live service action RPG. And no, it's not gonna be, a Dragon Age. And Mass Effect Andromeda, a big complaint was that the story was just not strong enough to drive such a journey, and that they excluded a lot of aliens, which was the cool thing about it, and just, the focus in the wrong place. So I guess that also added on to this thing of with them focusing on Anthem so heavily, what does this mean for the future? There's been talk about Mass Effect Andromeda being the end, or at least having the Mass Effect world be put on ice until such a time as they figure out what's going on. And I don't really want to get into that, but I just wanted to talk about Bioware as a company, and I understand. I'm one of the people that was probably most disappointed in Andromeda. A lot of people are very, oh my god, my comment section is a world of, it's a world of horror down there. I have been really sad if I've taken a look at it. People are mad. People don't have faith in Bioware anymore. I'm sure these people always existed, but I've lost faith too. My friends have lost some faith. I guess I just kind of wanted to look at it from a practical standpoint though, and put those things aside, but I'm still human. Dragon Age is my priority. My hope right now is that Dragon Age is not delayed or in any way crapped on because they're focusing on this new sort of co-op game. And I don't want people to be mad at Anthem for that. I do think that Bioware, I understand wanting to get in on this market. I know it's popular for some. Is it their core demographic? Maybe not, because there aren't that many heavily story-focused games, especially that allow you to have close friendships in game and romances, and it's a big rarity, and so people are scared that that's going to go away because EA/Bioware people in charge think that we need to expand so we can appeal to more people, and it's all about money. And that's the thing that's hard to understand, is you can love something, but at the end of the day everything is about money, if you didn't know it. So it sucks because especially for the LGBT, and for people who these games have meant so much to. The Mass Effect fans are really suffering. I'm a fan, so I'm suffering just in that. I'm worried about the franchise, and I'm worried that there's some truth to the rumors, but I mean, you can do your research on that. I don't want to perpetuate these things. I hope it's not true, but if you want to comment that you're angry about it, I totally understand. I'm angry too, but it's just not going to do me any good in my life to be angry, so I try to dismiss that. But as far as is Bioware abandoning us as the Dragon Age Mass Effect fans? Are they abandoning us? Are they going to change into being a company that no longer caters to the kind of games I and maybe you like to play? Maybe. And I don't think that hating on Anthem, regardless, I mean, we don't know much about the story. I guess I should say here, we don't know. Like, they only featured really, this is the world, and here's some visuals, and there's combat. And you can play with friends. So, for all we know, there could be elements that they're just not talking about yet. I'm fairly sure that there was talk about romance on this IP. I'm just going to tell you, I think. So I personally believe that there will be good story elements. I have to hope that, because they always talk about, well, story is still first. And I hope that's true. So I'm choosing to believe that, even though, yes, I've been lied to personally plenty of times when I've tweeted at people who work at Bioware and asked questions and vaguely lied to in response, like, oh, don't worry about that. Well, I'm worried. But, I'm not mad at Anthem. I hope that Bioware still stays true to, the Dragon Age style games, because that's what's most important to me. I'm not the biggest Mass Effect fan, but I still love it a lot, and, I do a podcast where we talk mostly about it, so I don't know. I feel bad that people are upset. I understand being upset. But at the end of the day, I just have to wait and see when it comes to Anthem. When it comes to, do they talk about Dragon Age next year? Do we have Mass Effect DLC? I think if I was someone at Bioware paying attention, I would say that maybe not putting all your eggs in Anthem the basket would be good, because you can do all the amazing things and try all these new awesome type of games and expand what your products are, but at the end of the day, if that crashes and you've abandoned your most popular franchise and abandoned in that you don't put as much effort into them, then they're going to be screwed. I hope they don't do that. That is not something I want to see. And I felt like Anthem has been the focus, because there was talk about Mass Effect having people taken away to work on other products. So that is a worry, but I don't know. I don't know how to soothe people about this. It's not my job to either, but I can only tell you how I feel, which is that I'm going to give it time and hope that the story there is on brand with Bioware, and hope that when you don't play with other people, it's still a good experience. And a lot can change, and I hope they take feedback. I hope that they have people playing this game outside of the company, because you can get, oh god, I can't remember the word, but you can focus in on a project when you're working on it and not having that outsider perspective. I hope they're taking feedback. I hope they're being inclusive. I hope they're staying true to the Bioware brand, quote unquote. And if they're changing, I hope that they still put focus on the things that made Bioware such a wonderful company and that changed so many people's lives, like mine. And I'm gonna hold out to that. I think the thing to remember is there are different studios, there are different people in charge of different things, though they do have common denominators. So I have faith in the Dragon Age team, and thus far I haven't been proved wrong on that front. So I mean, as Mass Effect fans, I understand being really upset after what happened, because I think it's pretty much understood that that game was not good. It was a mess, and and I understand being upset, but as a Dragon Age fan, I'm just holding out. So I think, are they abandoning their core base? Maybe a little bit. I guess it really comes down to who makes the decisions, what's the focus. And I just hope that they hear people and they see the articles. Some of them are a little hard to read. Obviously, there was a really great one talking about everything that happened, at least according to their quote-unquote sources, for Andromeda. And all you can expect is that people learn a lesson and they focus on what really matters. Because as cool as combat can be, and as cool as all the other things can be, there's a dime a dozen awesome games out there that have awesome combat. What they don't have is story and close relationships in game that mean a lot to you and that keep you coming back. So I'm trying not to be worried about it. I'm trying to be positive and trying not to blame Anthem, because it could be a good game. It could. I'm not, if I can play it alone or play it with other people, I'm still gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna keep giving it a chance. Though obviously there are reasons I'm anxious about it, but we've got a lot of time, and I don't know, I just wanted to ramble about it, and because there's just so many people who are maybe a little bit on edge about it, and just not happy with Bioware, which I understand. But all I can do as a person who mostly talks about Bioware is, say, this is how I feel, and you don't have to feel the same way. You probably don't. But I don't know. I'm just trying to put my energy into other things. Even as somebody who this means so much to, and I think about it every day. And I'm slightly obsessed with Bioware, but, well, slightly. That's probably understating it a lot. What was the point of this? I don't know. I've seen so many posts about it, and people just upset, and I don't know. I can't do anything about it, but I can tell you how I feel, so I've done that. And I'm hoping. I'm continuing to cover Dragon Age, anything Mass Effect-y, there's DLC, whatever, and talk about Anthem when more is known. I think if I was Bioware, which I'm not, clearly, if I was someone at Bioware who had the decision making, I would make it a point. I think there's a conference in August that I heard about, and Bioware is attending the end of August, I think. If I was Bioware, I would make it a priority to definitely showcase the RPG elements, to answer questions like, is there choices and consequences? Is there like a dialogue wheel? Stuff like that. Introduce characters, or the defined characters, which I think there are. Like, I think we play as defined characters. We have a choice, I think. So that's what I would do. I would try to remind our fan base, because if Dragon Age doesn't come out till 2020, that's a good while, they don't put out many games, so that's a good while. I think I would remind my fans that I'm still about the story, which is what made them as a company so special. So that's what I would do. I hope that's what they do, or at least at some point. If not, E3 next year. That's all, right? If you want to hear me more ramble about stuff, I have other videos you can like and subscribe. Try to keep it positive, guys, because there's just so much negativity. And I know saying that is probably going to make it more negative down there. Should I look? I don't know. But that's all we can do, really, is we can't control this company. We can buy their game or not buy their game. We can talk about it or not talk about it, but at the end of the day, really, getting upset has never benefited me, so I try to control that. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, positive comments, please. Okay, I'll see you guys next time I decide to ramble about Bioware.